it did happen in the 18th, 19th century, where Irish whiskey was the world whiskey, was the #1 whiskey. We had it all here, but it's fair to say that we blew it back then, and people will argue about prohibition or discuss about the Civil War, let's call it the Cold War with the British at the time. But for me, the single biggest factor was technology. An Irish gentleman named Mr. Coffey invented the column still back in the 1800s. This was the most efficient way of distilling whiskey, of creating spirit. It was the most efficient way, and unfortunately was shunned by the distillers of the day in Ireland. That technology was taken across to Britain. It was embraced by the gin houses of London, and also in Scotland by the whiskey distillers there. So through the 1800s, the 19th century, the Scottish got on board with column still distilling, while the Irish stuck with the copper pot distilling. Yes, the Scots were also using copper pots for their malts, but for the vast majority of their blends, they were using grain whiskey from column distillation, which was just much more cost-effective whiskey, and put daylight between ourselves and the Scots. Dairy and beef deserve the supports they get, but I'd like to make a point that the gross value add per employee in the whiskey business is over 400,000 per person. That's 4 times greater than the same person working in dairy, or 10 times that of the person working in the beef industry. So this is huge, and we need the government to sit up and take note of this. But getting involved in the Irish whiskey business is a massive commitment. There is no quick buck to be made. This is a long-term business. And if we want to attract new entrants, which we are doing, but if we want to make sure that they are successful, we need to support the new entrants and look at the way in which we do that, because it's not like an ordinary, whiskey distilling. The whiskey distilling business is not like your normal business. There is a huge wait time. You make it today, you still have to wait 3 years before you can call it whiskey, and in most cases, most of our whiskies are 6, 7, 8, 9 years old before we get to drink them anyway. So there's a massive commitment, massive investment, and we need to support a new entrants with this. First of all, up until recently, there was really nowhere, there was no one-stop shop you could go and say, okay, I want to get involved in whiskey, here are all my questions, where can I get the answers? There was no one-stop shop. With the Irish Whiskey Association, we now have this one-stop shop. So if you, Peter, in the morning want to get involved in whiskey, you come to us on our website, you get all the information you need, and or directly through to our offices in IBEC, so where we can help you and guide you, I suppose, as to where to turn next. That's the first thing. Secondly, for the new entrant, there isn't a ready-made resource pool of distillers, mash men, coopers. They don't exist in Ireland anymore. It's only a few years ago when we had just 3 distilleries. In Scotland, they have almost 130. So we have to start from the ground up, building our own expertise, and there needs to be mentoring. And the great thing is that the existing distillers, and in particular we're talking about the Bushmills, the Middletons, the Coolies, have offered their services in helping mentor these if you like new graduates to the whiskey industry. That's absolutely critical, this whole mentoring side. And then the financial supports, because it's not just about creating a distillery. Yes, you get your planning permission, you get your funds, you build your distillery. It will take just as much money and more to distill and lay down whiskey for 3+ years, and so we need the government to be innovative in its incentives to help the small new entrants.